approximately 6:26 and to bed at 3 o'clock. Got all the bags packed up. Big day to see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Today's a long day. We got the Taj. We had to get to Agra first. We drove to Delhi after that, which is around 3.5 hours. So long day, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna be in a different part of the world, or part of India. Therefore, one after. Dude, I can't speak right now. Oh my God.
This is dope when the sun rises.
No, we gotta capture all these moments, or we're delirious.
So after getting around 2.5 hours of sleep, we made our way to the airport, got there relatively fast, which was great because we had our bags checked, got through security super quick, and we got there as we were boarding the flight. So we're looking at our tickets, 30A, 30B, 30C, and we get on the plane, we're walking all the way to the back. It turns out we are the last row on this plane. And granted, we're also not the smallest guys either. We're all above 6 foot, and so we all sit in this seat, and we were flying with Indigo. And how I would compare that to an American type of airline would be like a Spirit, but then like a little bit lower than a Spirit. It didn't have any, it was just cheap though. It's probably like a $30 flight, if less than that. And so that's what made it. It was definitely, you saw that the $30 worth. Like the seats were sort of falling apart, couldn't really recline the seats or anything. But it was all worth it because it was a quick flight. It was like an hour and a half, luckily. And then we hopped on another plane, which was a prop plane, and then got to Agra. And we had a little bit of trouble meeting up with our guy, our driver, who we initially wanted to meet up with there because we couldn't really call him. He wasn't answering his phone. We didn't know what was happening. So we get out of the airport and we're like, oh, we're just waiting for our Uber. And the guy's like, no, you can't wait for Ubers here. And we're like, what do you mean? And he goes, you have to get on the bus. And we're like, what? And so they make us get on this bus. We have no idea where we're going at this point. And so we all get on this bus, the 3 of us, and we get driven out of the military base. And then right as we get out of the military base, there's like a ton of people just trying to, taxi, you want to ride? You want to do this? You want that? And we're just kind of overwhelmed. We're like, we do not know anything that's happening. And this random guy came up to us, he goes, taxi? And we're like, no, it's okay. We don't need, no taxi needed. And he goes, no, this is you, right? And he shows a picture of my buddy Avi. And we're like, oh wait, this is our taxi guy. So he basically found us off of a picture that he found online of Avi for his profile, which was actually amazing. It worked out great. But after we got into the car, it was probably like a 30 or 40 minute drive to the actual Taj, because our plan was to go to the Taj, just walk around. We didn't have any like tour guide or anything in mind, but it actually worked out great because our driver halfway through the ride is like, do you want a tour guide? Like turns to the back. And we're like, sure. And so he like makes a call, and this random lady like 2 minutes later just like gets in the car. She goes, hey, I will be your tour guide. We're like, okay, that sounds good to us. And so, and we no idea what the price is. No, we do not talk about price. Besides, like, we paid the driver. We do not know how much this lady is gonna charge us for this thing. Anyway, we get there and she's like, you can't take anything into this place. Like, you can't have any like loose papers. You can't have any, I think we could have like money. We could have rupees on us, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, you literally can't bring anything. So this is like all we have. Our passports, everything is left with the driver we hired today. So
Putting a lot of faith in the
we could definitely get screwed over, but you know, we're putting our faith in the people.
We were thinking the best. So we get there, there's no lines. It was absolutely fantastic. It's kind of in a fortress. I didn't really think of it would be like in a fortress. So there was this super red type of stone. I don't even know if it was stone or what it was, but it was surrounded by it. So right when you first initially walk in, you can't see anything. Everything is very symmetrical there. So you go to where this little archway is, right? And then you get closer and closer, and it kind of just like expands into like this massive building. And the depth perception of it, it's kind of like super small. Once you get up to it, it's like massive. But we finally saw it, and it was absolutely breathtaking. It was, I've always, obviously everyone wants to see the 7 wonders of the world. And when you actually see one in person versus just like the videos and photos you see online, it's so surreal. And so we get there, we take it in, our tour guide's telling us all these little details. I'm trying to figure out the best angles and everything as she's telling us what's happening. And she was so insightful of all the information she gave us, and it was absolutely fantastic. So you can actually walk inside the Taj Mahal, but you have to wear these little coverings, like little booties. I think it's like a mesh covering over your shoe, or you're gonna take your shoe off. And we get up inside, and she's explaining to us that all these little gems inside that you see, like kind of outlining everything, they're all hand carved and then hand put in there. So we eventually made our way, we toured around the Taj. It was incredible to see, massive in person, of course. 20 tour guides that are just women. So 15 to 20 women tour guides. And then there's 5,000 other guides that are just men. So we got one of the 15, I think 15 or 20 she said. So we got one of the 20 tour guides, women tour guides, and she killed it. She was amazing. I think it ended up being like $15 a person, which was actually a really good deal. But after visiting the Taj Mahal, which was an absolutely amazing experience, she took us to these little stores. Like some old man is weaving. It was really cool. For me, I was like, this is amazing. I'm not gonna buy anything, but like even just like this footage of this guy just kind of hand sewing these beautiful like murals of fabric of what was it, like a peacock? I don't know. And then we get led into this other room where this guy is talking about all these gems and these stones and like showing this on his hand, and I'm listening to him like, oh my God, this is amazing.
The name of the stone in Arabic or in Farsi, when the Mughal emperor, they were here, they were speaking these two languages. They call the stone Sitare Hind. Sitare means star, Hind means India. Star of India. Hand in a different angle. It's not the stone, it's a cross moving in the stone.
This is so cool to see all this, and then halfway through I'm like, oh, I know why we're here. This is a sales pitch. They're like, they see 3 Americans, we're like, oh, money for sure. And so we realized that after a little bit, they give us chai tea, and they're buttering us up because my buddy Emilio is gonna buy something for his girlfriend. So we kind of barter with them. He eventually buys a little gemstone for his girlfriend, and it all worked out. I think we got a decent price. And then after that, at this point we're tired. We're very tired. We've been traveling all day. We didn't have many hours of sleep that night. So then we go to another shop, and we get there, and these guys are grinding these little gemstones and hand placing them on these little tiny marble pieces. But after that, she suggested a restaurant. We went to a restaurant, had a great meal. And after we ate, our driver came, picked us up, and we headed to Delhi, which was around a 4-hour drive from Agra. So we basically had to go to Delhi because we were flying out there the next day. And that felt like a long drive for sure. It's like, no, there's no rules on these roads. It's kind of, and you can't sleep in the car because it's constantly like, you're just like bouncing around on these potholes. So it's like trying to sleep and you're just like slamming your head against, and like my head's like hitting the thing. So it's like boom, boom. And so we had to pretty much just be up for 4 hours, just kind of going through this drive. But the crazy thing was, like, we get out halfway, we see like a lot of construction happening. Our driver like pulls over, he's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So pulls over, he gets out in the door, and like this smell just comes. It smells like burning rubber and like burning plastic. It was bad. It was like, what is that? I was like, oh my gosh. But he got back in the car and we made our way. We were basically staying at a corporate housing. One of our buddies, Emilio, had a friend who kind of suggested that we stay at this place and linked us up with this buddy. And it was wonderful. We each got our individual room and it was perfect. We had a shower. And so we stayed there until the next morning.
For now, we're headed to the airport. Back to the airport. We took 2 flights yesterday, now we're taking a flight today. So we're basically taking 9 flights in the span of like a couple weeks, which is wild. But right now, on the way to the airport, going from Delhi to Jodhpur.
So the next morning we wake up, have breakfast, and we make our way to the airport in Delhi, all the way through the Delhi traffic, which is pretty wild. Like, they had this line of motorcycles going and everyone's getting so close to the car. I literally saw someone like just tap bumpers so many times, and they don't get out, they don't care, they don't have insurance. Like, it's wild. And after we got to Jodhpur, we headed straight to the hotel, got an Uber to the hotel. What's so cool about Jodhpur is that there's this really big palace there. And so we wanted to go see if we could tour and go around and check it out. But we get there, we're like, okay, we set our stuff down. And we're like, okay, we immediately need to go to the town. So we're like probably 30 minutes away. So we leave the hotel and we're waiting for our Uber, like waiting for this guy, he's not coming. And all of a sudden, like, I see in the distance, it's down to the left over here, and there's these kids playing outside, and there's cows in these trees. I'm like, we have to go down there. That looks amazing, like the content, that could be so cool. And so I convinced Avi to go down there with me. We walk down and see just like these kids playing on like a wagon of some sort, and then this lady's tending to her cows, and the one's about to give birth. And so we both walk down there trying to like not step on like cow mud pies pretty much. And this woman just like, she's just smiling, her and her son, like such a cute little, like they were the best. They were so nice. And their whole little family was so sweet. And so I was able to get some really cool shots of them before we headed out. But eventually our Uber arrived. We hopped in the Uber, headed to the palace. And when we get to the palace, we're about to go in and he's like, no, 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 like you can't come this way. We're like, what's going on? And he goes, it's closed. I'm like, no. Like we came all this way just now to like go to the palace. Like, well, how is it closed? And like it closed 30 minutes ago. We're like, oh. And then some guys, there's like a rickshaw driver, but it's kind of like a rock wall. And he's on the other side of the rock wall. He's like, oh, what a shame. What a shame it's closed. Would you want another tour of someplace else? And we're like, this guy just knew that like people were gonna come up here and see it's closed and whatnot. So we say no to him at first. And we're like, if you can get us in, because I wanted to get like a shot of the palace with me, and eventually I did. And so you'll see that here. So I got a shot of me walking up a little hill with the palace in the background, which was really cool. But he had to like convince the gate security guy to let us in there. And so we get in, but we can only take that one video, and then we come out. We're like, all right, fine, we'll give you 500 rupees and you can take us around. So in Jodhpur, there's this really cool part of it where it's called the Blue City. So he takes us down there and like kind of walks us through all the streets. And he's actually a pretty good tour guide. Like he took us to the views and everything. And we walked through all these little different alleys with people. We walked past these women that were they're praying and singing, and I was like, I have to get a photo of this. I was able to get some really, really cool shots inside the Blue City, which I was really excited about. We eventually go through the city. He's telling us about all these different things.
All over Indian people, they love the Rajasthani culture dance. Rajasthani culture, the dance.
All the different murals that are on the walls. So then we get back in the rickshaw, we go around, and we go to the main part of the city. So then we made our way to the middle of the city, which was super interesting to see the different cities and how they act. And we were eventually passing a bunch of different things. I was like, we gotta stop out and like see these things. We can't just drive past it. And so we get out and we check out this little, I don't even know what it's actually called.
The boys.
It's like there's water in the middle of it, and then there's kind of seats, and people would kind of just like hang out there during the nighttime. Sometimes the people will jump into it if it's like super hot during the day. And eventually we got hungry, of course, and we're like, we're gonna find a place for dinner. So looking at the rooftops, we're like, ooh, that one looks kind of cool. So we walk up these really small stairs up all the way to the top of this random restaurant, and the views were amazing. So the guy pours us a beer, we had the chicken, we had the views. It was wonderful end to the day. It was magnificent. The sunset looked absolutely stunning. And then after the delicious dinner and the brew, we headed back down into the actual city where we walked around for a little bit. But all in all, it was an amazing day. And after that, we headed back to the hotel to get some sleep because tomorrow we had to wake up for another long day and a new city. So tune in next time. You'll see where we're going next in India.